Previously on my weight loss journey.
All this is course correcting. When does my inner world feel a little off kilter? How do I get that sense of stability while having fun?
Alright, you guys already know I've got my sourdough toast this morning. For lunch, I had my leftover catfish fillet with some chips and some pork and cheese dip. I actually did not even finish all of the chips on that plate. So for dinner, I had some chips, guacamole, and cheese. And then I had this amazing, delicious dinner, which is cheese over rice and chicken. Sourdough toast. For lunch, I'm eating my leftovers from last night along with some of the guacamole and chips. Sourdough toast. Today, I may have ordered a pizza. I just scraped the toppings off of the top, but did have one full slice. And I also had some garlic tots. It's a little eye-opening to see my diet from a bird's eye view. So we're going to work on that next week. So my eating habits are improving. For dinner, I had gumbo. I just scooped out the rice, some salmon, but I actually just chopped up the salmon and put it in my gumbo. So it's just very protein heavy, very carb light. I saved my carbs for a little bit of tuna dip and pita chips. Sourdough toast. I feel super bloated and swollen today. I don't want to be a slave to the carbs like this. My diet is regularly chicken fingers, nachos, pizza. That's regular rotation. Those are like the most unhealthy, the highest calorie content, highest carb content. Of course, I'll still have them here and there, but I want it to get out of the regular rotation. I can be making a lot bigger difference if I cut those out. I can be a much better master of this clean eating. I'm going to try to take carbs out of my diet. I want to go for that single item meals, salmon or beef, and then avocado, very whole food oriented. I am going out of town for a few days, so I will enjoy some good food. I'll try and do it in moderation, and then when I get back, I'll try to focus more on just eating these simple, healthy foods. For dinner, I had a burger with some onion rings, and I always just carve out the bread on the top bun because it just kind of saves me on some carbs. My sourdough toast again, and then I had 2 beignets from Cafe du Monde. Y'all, it was so good. They were fresh too. I did have a mango daiquiri that day, and I had to add that in there because I know that has a ton of sugar, but it's vacay time, so I'm letting myself enjoy. I had a soft taco and some chips. Sometimes I forget to film my food, so I just have like generic photos, but this is what it looked like just with double, maybe triple the meat. And I had it with some chips and rotel dip. I ate more chips than I probably should have, but you know, I'm on vacation. And then later we had fajitas. I had 1 fajita, but I had 2 to 3 times more meat than it shows in this photo. This is where I got to splurge a little bit, but I'm pretty happy with the volume I ate. I had a burger with onion rings on it and bacon, and then I had these like chili cheese fries. That's where I kind of like put all my carbs in. I didn't even eat half the burger. And then I got one of these shakes. It's the dirt cake shake. I did have the 2 Oreos on it. And then I probably had about a 1/4 of this shake. I didn't really eat the Cool Whip and stuff on top. And then I snacked a little bit on some king cake on the way home. I probably had 1 full slice. I'm just showing a bite here. Later that evening, I ordered a Domino's thin crust pizza. I like to order the thin crust. It makes me feel better about lowering the carbs because I do love a good pan pizza. And then I had some garlic bites. I was kind of finishing off my vacay day. And then just getting back on track and starting off with my sourdough toast. I'm back to regular everyday life. I had my fun, and that's part of healthy living, knowing your balance. The way I grade myself is by judging on the amount of volume I'm eating, paying attention to how much carbs I'm having. With the chips, with the king cake, with the garlic bites, my volume was a lot better than it would have been in the past, but I'm not quite where I want to be yet. Here we go. We're gonna finish out this day with a fasting day. All right, y'all, please excuse my car. I always have stuff going on in my car, but I'm committed to sharing with you guys what I learned along my journey. I think it comes down to really 2 things. The first one is that we make our decisions based on how things are going to make us feel. That's why I turn to food. Whether it's food or alcohol or whatever the vice is, it's just a coping mechanism. And it's just like a fast, easy way to make ourselves feel better. I realize in hindsight, that's what food became for me. What we have to do is work through whatever's going on inside, because we're all going to have things going on inside. We have to work through it internally. We have to talk to ourselves and walk ourselves through the situation and make ourselves feel better, finding what makes ourselves feel better. It's a lot harder. It takes dedication, discipline, hard work, but it's the healthier way of doing it. Okay, y'all, I think I'm gonna have to move because in this big old empty parking lot, everybody just like surrounded me. I don't know how that happened. So weird. See, you can see them now. They literally just like surrounded me. Maybe they thought I was that other car. All right, back to the story at hand. So we have to talk to ourselves internally, walk through whatever the emotions are and find ways to make ourselves feel better. Usually what works for me is like, what would you tell a friend? If a friend was, I feel like I can't stop, like, what are they doing over there? But what would you tell a friend? What would you tell a friend to do? What would you say to them? And that usually kind of changes my perspective on things a little bit, and then I can like walk myself through things. It does take a lot of repetition. It's learning a new skill. It's this art of healthy living internally, learning how to work through things without the help of external things. Slowly, my diet has, in fact, y'all. Okay, I was like, are they coming apart right next to me? Slowly, my diet has improved with getting better and better at this. The second thing is the stability I've been talking about. Part of eating better for me comes with increased stability. My food choices just tend to change as I have more stability in my life. And what really is the stability? To me, it's really more about being self-reliant, having that importance on ourselves. Here's what it really is. It's being able to trust in yourself. It means following through with your commitments. It means knowing what commitments you won't stick to. So making things easier so that it's stuff like you can build that trust with yourself. Like, that's why I like to do things like, even if I'm in the gym for 5 minutes and I got in there, I didn't break my promise to myself. I went to the gym Monday through Friday like I have to. I do give myself exceptions for like holidays or, vacations, stuff like that, but it allows me to keep my promises to myself. If I try to give myself a commitment that is just out of reach for me in this moment in my life, then I'm kind of setting myself up for failure if I do that. So it's just like learning yourself, and for me, knowing when to make things easy for myself so that I can keep those commitments. And it's stopping asking other people, what is going on back there? I can't stop looking. But it's about like stopping asking people for their advice, stopping asking people for their opinions, learning to go inward and answer those own questions for yourself, to validate your own self. That's the big one. Validate your own self. If you're not sure about something or a decision you made, learn what you need to do, what works for you, to validate that, why you did that. If it needs to be corrected, okay, well, I'll learn how to correct those things. Learning to figure things out on your own, learning to trust yourself, keeping your boundaries to protect yourself. One of the coolest things is that no one can give you the things you need like you can. No one can give you that comfort and validation the way you can. Only you have ever seen the full spectrum of your life and know yourself in and out and know what you need. No one else's like comfort or validation is going to hit the way yours is when you find out how to do it on your own. I'm speaking to myself here. No one's is even comparable. Yes, it helps. Yes, it's appreciated, but nonetheless, no one's is going to hit just the way yours is when you figure it out. It will take some work, but when you figure that out, there's just nothing that can compare to it. So going into our own thoughts, our own opinions, the external world, our relationships, our job, everyone that we come in contact with, that is just a reflection of our internal world. I heard somebody say that it's like trying to make your car run good, but all you do is wash the outside. Just clean and scrub the outside. What you have to do is get under the hood and work on the engine. It's the same thing with us. It's not the outside, it's the internal world. We just have to continually improve our internal world and make it a place that we enjoy being. Everything outside will take care of itself because it's all a reflection. That's another reason why we have to learn how to like walk ourselves through things internally instead of having these coping mechanisms. I'm talking to me. All about keeping your balance. And what does that really mean? It's about keeping your focus on yourself, on your internal world. With yoga, I love my yoga. I learned this thing where if you try to balance on one foot, it's easy to get off kilter. And if you can try this, go ahead and try it, like pause it and try it. But if you can stand on one foot, it'll only hold for so long. If you find a point on the wall in front of you and stare at it, you can keep your balance much, much better. And we are the focal point. Our internal world is the focal point. Once you keep that focus on yourself and your internal world, that is where we get that stability. That is where we get that balance. It's really focusing on what our needs are. If it's peace, if it's joy, if it's laughter, if it's feeling good, if it's validation, authenticity, excitement, adventure. It's really making our internal world happy, independent of anything going on outside of us. All right, so enough for the deep talk today. Y'all, everyone's just like circling around. Hi. I picked the wrong parking lot, y'all. So for next week, my task is to have clean, whole foods, very single item meals. I can only really accomplish this if I really focus on my stability, focused on my inner world, and walking myself through these tough situations. So I'll have to really be mentally tough and discipline myself not to go for that quick fix. If I find myself saying, I think I'll order a pizza today, I have to stop myself and say, okay, what's going on inside? Walk myself through it. So, yeah, I think with these new tools, I'll be able to make some good improvements next week. So thank you guys so much for watching. All right, so I weighed in this week at 192.2, so I'm down 4.3 pounds total and then up 2.4 pounds for the week. Y'all, I can't really tell a difference yet, but it's still early. Right now, it's just a matter of like, are my angles a little off? So still got a little ways to go. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. Mwah.